Good day. It's February 9, 2026. A Texas Democrat won Texas state Senate race in a ruby red Republican district that had not elected a Democrat since the 1970s. I'm Joe Buban. Welcome to The Pulse.
And I'm Jessica Rolla. Welcome to this week's edition.
In a special election held last week for a state Senate seat in Texas, Taylor Remet, a Democrat, won in the special election for the state Senate seat in the state legislature's Senate District 9. What gave this a national attention is that this district has been reliably Republican. But Taylor Remet won the election by a huge margin of 14 percentage points. According to political analysts who were looking at the numbers, the huge win could be attributed to about 37% swing to the Democrats among independent voters and Hispanic voters who voted for Trump in 2024. Taylor Remet is a newcomer in politics, but has been a union leader and organizer in Texas. His win was the newest welcome news and an indication that a Democratic win in Texas in 2026, even in traditionally Republican district, is achievable. What made this special election result encouraging to Democrats is the fact that State Senate District 9 is a vast area where at least 3 congressional districts are located. And this result is terrifying to Republicans at the prospect that they could lose 3 congressional House races in 2026. Also in Texas, the seat of the late Congressman Sylvester Turner, who died last year, was easily won by Democrat Christian Menefee, a state prosecutor for Harris County. His win brings the number of Democrats in the House of Representatives to 214 and 218 for Republicans, which means Speaker Mike Johnson can only afford 2 defectors to vote with the Democrats to kill a bill put forward by the Trump administration, or 2 Republicans voting with Democrats to pass a bill sponsored by the Democrats.
We have an update for you on the 5-year-old boy that was detained by ICE with his father and transported to a detention camp in Dilley, Texas, near El Paso, where he was visited by 2 Democrat members of the House of Representatives from Texas, Jasmine Crockett and Joaquin Castro. The good news is the boy, Liam Conejo Ramos, and his father, Luis Ramos, has been released from detention, and they're back in Minnesota. Congressman Joaquin Castro escorted them away from the detention center 2 days later after he visited them at the detention center. U.S. District Judge Fred Byrie ordered their release and to remain free until their petition for legal stay has been adjudicated. Here are some footage of the father and son in a commercial flight back to Minnesota.
The Supreme Court, in a 9-0 ruling, one-sentence decision, denied the petition of California Republicans to block the new congressional map that Governor Gavin Newsom and the state legislature drawn in response to the Texas mid-census congressional gerrymander. The SCOTUS favored the Texas map because the redistricting was political gerrymander and not racial gerrymander. The same reason was given in the California case, so this means that the redrawn California congressional map will be used in the November midterm election. Political statisticians and pollsters are looking at the possibility of a net loss of 2 seats from all the seats redrawn, involving several states because of what Texas started. That the Republicans will lose more seats in 2026 than if they had not tinkered with the redistricting in Texas as directed by Trump.
In our world news from the Philippines, on Tuesday last week, a raging fire that broke out at around 10 p.m. Philippine time gutted down more than 1,000 homes in Barangay Lamion in the municipality of Bangao, Tawi-Tawi province. More than 5,000 residents were evacuated, and so far, no death has been reported. The rapid spread of the fire was brought about by strong winds in this coastal village, where homes were built in light materials and built so close to each other. Tawi-Tawi province is a group of islands that is located in the southwest part of the Philippines, close to Malaysia.
In a report by Al Jazeera, recent attacks by rebels in the mineral-rich province of Balochistan could jeopardize Pakistan's commitment to China. In a coordinated attack last week by rebels across Balochistan, rebels killed 31 civilians and 17 members of government security forces, while the government forces killed 145 of the rebels during the encounters. Balochistan province is the center of China's investment in Pakistan. In September last year, high-ranking Pakistani officials went to meet with Donald Trump in the Oval Office and opened a briefcase with mineral rocks that came from Balochistan to offer the Trump administration and encourage U.S. private companies to invest in Balochistan. Rebels in Balochistan are homegrown, resentful, and disappointed of the Pakistani federal government for the poverty and neglecting the needs of the people of the province. The province has the largest territory but is believed to be the poorest in Pakistan. Balochistan is the home to Pakistan's largest mineral reserves and is home to 15 million Pakistanis, out of the 240 million population of Pakistan. The Baloch Liberation Army are separatist rebels who had long sought independence from Pakistan. After the coordinated attack, Pakistani officials blamed India for supporting the rebels, but had offered no proof about India's involvement.
In West Africa, BBC reports Ghana has suspended citizenship applications for members of the African diaspora in order to make the system more accessible and user-friendly. Since 2016, anybody who can prove their ancestors came from Africa had been permitted to obtain Ghanaian citizenship. It was primarily intended for the descendants of people who were victims of the transatlantic slave trade. More than 1,000 people, including African-American singer-songwriter Stevie Wonder, has gained Ghanaian citizenship in recent years. However, some candidates have expressed concerns about the number of stages needed and the hefty cost. So Dr. Erika Bennett, ambassador for the Diaspora African Forum, which assists people in relocating to Ghana, told the BBC that many applicants struggled with the requirement to submit DNA evidence within a week of the application, calling for the time frame impossible for most and questioning the reliability of DNA testing. She stated that the 1-week deadline for providing all supplementary documentation was tough to achieve. And another problem was the cost. The application price is $136 with shortlisted candidates asked to pay an additional $2,280. And they are then vetted and undergo a 1-day citizenship orientation before being granted nationality in a ceremony presided over by President John Mahama. Bennett was confident that the concerns would be rectified and that the application process would resume. So the administration has stated that fresh timeframes and procedures will be provided in due course without specifying a timeframe. The uncertainty surrounding the suspension has generated anxiety for some potential applicants who are preparing to relocate or invest. Ghana's outreach to Africans around the world stems from the country's first president, Kwame Nkrumah, who championed a Pan-African vision after independence. It was revived in 2019 as a year of return to rekindle global enthusiasm in reuniting with the nation. Today, people of the diaspora engage in real estate, agribusiness, technology, and small enterprises, and they frequently seek Ghanaian citizenship to own property, vote, and use government services. Countries such as Benin and Sierra Leone also provide citizenship to people of African origin based on proven ancestral ties. So let's take a commercial break. Stay tuned for an interview with a candidate for Clark County, Nevada Board of Commissioners when we come back.
Welcome back to The Pulse. With us now here at our PhilAm TV studios is Ms. Minja Yan, who is running for Clark County Commissioner, District F in the Democratic primary. Ms. Minja, welcome to The Pulse.
Thank you so much for having me.
Before we get into the questions, please tell our viewers about yourself.
Sure. My name is Minja. I'm a lifelong resident of Southwest Las Vegas. So my work experience has always been involved in the commercial real estate industry, being involved in policies about urban planning, land use, responsible growth, housing, transportation, infrastructure, and economic development. And I worked on the Chinatown redevelopment project with Clark County for about 18 months. And I also have been advocating for responsible growth that protects our water resource and public lands. And last year, I testified in the Nevada State Legislature and co-presented bills, AB 256, to establish a regional well study committee. So I have been involved in policymaking, and Clark County Commissioner in District F in the Southwest area in Chinatown, both are growing areas. So I decided to run for office.
So, Minja, where exactly is District F and that you want to represent in the Clark County Board of Commissioners? And maybe you can give some street boundaries or landmarks.
Yes. Clark County District F consists of the Chinatown area, going on Spring Mountain to about downtown Summerlin area, and everything that's South Summerlin, including the Ridges, Rose Ranch, Southwest, Mountain's Edge, Southern Highland, and Inspirada in Henderson.
And what are the important things for Clark County residents that you wish to accomplish and make if you are elected?
Yes, so some of the concerns I've been hearing from residents and small business owners are jobs and economy, traffic, and the cost of living issues that we're seeing here in the Las Vegas Valley. So I've been always advocating to build a light rail to invest in our public transportation infrastructure, and I hope that would create more jobs and create more opportunities for mixed-use development and urban development in the urban core, and build more housing near transit to help lower the cost of housing and allow seniors that would like to live in the houses that are next to transit to help reduce their cost of living too. And at the same time, I would want to support responsible growth that protects our water resources and public lands. And I help support advocating for protecting our public lands and defeated 2 federal bills that threaten to privatize 65,000 acres of public lands in Clark County, including some of the areas in District F. So when I'm elected into this position, I will continue to supporting our public lands.
County Commissioner District F is Justin Jones' district and is no longer running for re-election. What made you decide to run for this seat?
Yeah, so I think the trigger point of that made me decide to run for office was because of my advocacy of protecting our public lands. Last year, I was involved in the Nevada State Legislature in a movement that defeated a state bill, Assembly Joint Resolution, that wanted to privatize our public lands. And I sat in that public hearing room for about 5 hours to provide my opposition comment. And in that hearing room, I saw community members, no paid lobbyists, just community members like myself, came together from across the political spectrum. We all came together and spoke in opposition of this bill. And in that room, I watched a lot of the lobbyists or powerful political influential figures that supported the bills that wanted to privatize our public lands. And I think in that moment, I started to realize that sometimes when we involved in the civic engagement process, it's not, when we spoke against this bill, the next day, the bill was passed out of that committee. So that was the moment when I realized that I want to see the general public to be involved in the civic engagement process before a lot of the deals were already being made behind closed doors. And I also want to see that we, the people, have the power to participate and be involved without having lobbyists or without having a political influential figures on our side. So that moment was the moment when I realized that if I have the opportunity, I'm going to run for office one day and work with the people. And I think it's crucial for the residents of Nevada to get involved in civic engagement and elect leaders knowing that they will have the spine to challenge and say no to special interests when the interest of our community is on the line.
I think you're right about civic engagement, and we certainly allow that here at, of course, Film TV when we do events. But honestly, how is it going for you on the campaign trail?
Yeah, I think my campaign has been very exciting and fun, and I've been seeing a lot of young people participating in my campaign events, because I think at this political period of time, people want to see new energy. People want to see new faces running for local government races. And I've been doing a lot of the grassroots outreach, community outreach, working with many of the local small businesses and working with students and young people to get them involved to volunteer. So
Mhm.
I think I hosted my campaign launch event last Saturday at a pickleball venue, and we got 400 people show up. So that's
It
the
was a
kind of excitement
weather,
and
too.
momentum. Yeah.
Yes.
And so I have a lot of good momentum behind my
Awesome.
campaign, and the thing that's most special about my campaign is a people's movement.
When I was, doing my college years back and forth in the Philippines, during my semester or vacation break, sometimes there will be something that is already developed or there's a new building in town in the Southwest. And I do live in the Southwest. And so what I have been witnessing is that there is this particular part of like this privatization of this particular land. And it's like what you can cross uphill into a mountain, it's like there's an obsession by these so-called developers that they're purchasing these uphills and they're building houses there in that area, and that uphill could
Mhm.
actually have been used, for people to just climb up and just see the sunrise or see the sunset.
Mhm.
While in the flat land, it's like they leave that alone, but that could have also been used to, build some shopping centers or houses there in that area, or some
Mhm.
local business development.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to answer a question with a two-part answers.
uh-huh.
The first one is Southwest Las Vegas is the fastest growing part of the Las Vegas Valley. However, right now we don't have a vision
Mm-hmm.
of what Southwest Las Vegas can look like in the next 30 years. When we look at some of the other part of town, like Summerlin or Green Valley, those two communities were master planned communities developed by a single developer or a single development company.
Mm-hmm.
Southwest, we have a few master planned communities within Southwest, but we don't have a unified, community-driven vision of what is the potential of this neighborhood, what are the current things that people like the most, and what are some of the things that we're missing, like parks or community center. So when I become the county commissioner in Clark County, I would like to initiate that neighborhood vision for the Southwest and get the community to involved. What do people like about Southwest? One of the main reasons why people move to that area is the access to public lands, is the access to outdoor, is the access to all of these hiking trails, because it's part of the quality of life that residents would love to enjoy. You don't want your kids to stuck at home all day long and play iPad. You want them to go outside and enjoy the outdoor, right? So Southwest Las Vegas, we need a neighborhood vision plan driven by the community. And I've done that for Chinatown Redevelopment Project. We have gathered over 700 survey responses and many open houses and community events to hear from people what they would like to see improved in the neighborhood. And we can do the same thing for Southwest Las Vegas. The second part of my answer would be the topic of responsible growth. Right now, when we look at Clark County in Southern Nevada, we don't have a regional unified vision of how are we going to continue to grow and supporting our population growth is going to hit 3 million people in population by 2050. Right now, we have 2.3 million people in population. That means we're going to add 700,000 more people in the next 20 to 25 years. We cannot put Band-Aids on our problems and just look at one development site and this development site and that development site. Ultimately, we need a unified regional comprehensive plan that can provide the housing that will be needed to support our population growth, that will be providing the mixed-use development, the commercial development to support these businesses, to support the economic growth, and also look at our water resources and to make sure that we have enough water for the next 50 years and beyond. So go back to the responsible growth. Once we invest in public transportation infrastructure, let's say building a light rail, maybe in the Southwest along the 215 corridor, because District F covers part of Southwest, we can then eliminate minimum parking requirement and to allow more housing to be built near transit. And then at the same time, we can do a lot of the zoning reforms to allow more infill and redevelopment opportunities on some of these parcels to allow more mixed-use development being built. So it has to be a regional comprehensive plan and not just putting band-aids on different problems and look at it from a short-term perspective. We have to look at a long-term perspective.
There are less than 4 months left before the June 9 primary. Do you see a pathway to winning this primary?
Definitely. I'm the most experienced and qualified candidate for this county commissioner seat because I've been involved in not only state but also local government policy about housing, transportation, urban planning, water and public lands, and land use. All of these decisions are really what the county commissioner seat at the local government will be involved in. And I did the Chinatown redevelopment project. Nobody can execute that plan better than I do in this candidate running for this position. So I'm confident, and especially like after I did my official campaign launch event on Saturday, I got 400 people to show up. So that shows that there's good momentum behind my campaign. So I'm very excited for 2026.
And that, we are almost out of time for this segment. Last words from you for the voters out there. Come on, feel free to pitch.
Yes. Well, please make sure to check out my website at votemingja.com, MINJA, and feel free to look at my policy plan, not only for the ones that I already discussed at this show, but also for community safety, education, healthcare, and jobs and economy. So it's 35 pages, or more, so feel free to read it in your free time. And we have many community events coming up, so feel free to subscribe to our newsletter and follow me on social media.
Minja Yan, running for County Commission, Seat District F. Thank you for talking to us today. Good luck on your race.
Thank you.
And we'll leave it at that, folks. Please join us again next week for another edition. I'm Jessica Rolla. Thank you for watching.
And I'm Joe Boban. God bless your week.